Hello everyone, it's your girl Tinadi of Asia Couture. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make this beautiful trendy side lacing gown. It's a beautiful dress. I'll be taking you step by step on how you're going to achieve this look. So I encourage you to watch till the end. If this is your first time here, you're welcome. Kindly subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified when I upload new tutorial. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for sticking by. So because I'm not on the big side, I made use of 2.5 yards of material. In case you're a plus size, just make use of 3 yards. So I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into 4. As you can see, you see the way I folded it. So I'm not going to be adding zipper allowance to my own, but I will advise you to add to yours, because after making the dress, I realized that you might actually need a zipper at the back for easy wearing. So if you are going to add a zipper, just fold the way you see me do and leave your zipper allowance at that end and start your measurements at that side if you are going to add zipper. So your measurement will be starting from that side and that part will serve as your zipper allowance. And the measurement I used to put this fabric on fold is quarter of my hip measurement plus 7 inches. Yes, so my hip is 36 divided by 4 is 9 inches. So plus 7 inches give me 16 inches. So what you are seeing on the table is 16 inches folded in 4 places. So that is that about the measurements to use to fold. So I'll go ahead now and draw out my starting line, which will also be serving as my shoulder line. So I'll go ahead and mark out the neck for the front first before marking the back. So this is me measuring 3 inches down, 3.5 inches downward and connecting to 3.5 inch wide. So I've gone ahead to mark out my back neckline too, which is 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So the next thing to do now is to measure my shoulder width. My shoulder is 15 inches divided by 2 will give me 7.5. So I've also gone ahead to add half an inch to the 7.5 to make 8 inches. The half inch will be serving as my allowance to join the sleeve too. So from my shoulder marking, I place my tape downwards to measure out 1 inch, which will be serving as my shoulder slope. Then I further went ahead to divide my bust by 6 and added 1.5. This is a formula for getting your bust line. So I went ahead to impute my answer. I started the measurement from the shoulder slope, from the 1 inch shoulder slope that I made earlier. So I imputed my answer there. So I'll connect into a straight line. So the line I'm drawing now is my armhole line. So that line where our armhole ends, we'll be marking it into a straight line, and that will be serving as our bust line. So the next line we'll be drawing is our waist line. And to get our waistline, I place my tape vertically downwards and I mark from the shoulder 15 inches, which is my waistline. Then the next line we are going to be marking is our hip line. And I'll still be placing my tape vertically from the shoulder, and I got 24 inches for my hip line. So I'll mark 24 inches into a straight line, which will be serving as my hip line. So we have our bust line, our waistline, our hip line. Then I'll go ahead and mark the length of the dress. So you can make yours long. I decided to make my own short, but it's still the same process if you're going to make yours long.
So now we have our bust line, our waistline, our hip line, and the length of the gown.
So what we are going to do next now is to connect our 1 inch shoulder slope that we made earlier to our neck width. So the next thing to do is to impute my body circumference measurements. So I'll be imputing quarter of my bust measurement, quarter of my waist measurement, and quarter of my hip measurement. So at the bust line, I'll impute quarter of my waist measurement plus 2 inches. Please take notes. Quarter of my waist bust measurement plus 2 inches. On my waistline, I'll be inputting quarter of my waist measurement plus 2 inches, then plus additional 1 inch for that. So that makes it 3 inches on my waistline. At the hip line, I'll be adding quarter of my hip measurement plus 3 inches. There's no dot on the hip line. I just want the hip area to be a bit free. That's why I'm adding 3 inches. So everything I have on my hip line, I will transfer it down to the hem of the gown, and I'll be adding additional 3 inches again for on my hem line. So I'll come again. On my bust line, I inputted quarter of my bust measurement plus 2 inches. On the waistline, quarter of my waist measurement plus 3 inches. On my hip line, quarter of my hip measurement plus 3 inches. There's no dot on my hip line. It's just to give it a bit of ease around my hip line. Then all the measurements I have on my hip line, I will transfer it to my hem, then add additional 3 inches. So I'll connect all the dots together. So what I'm going to do next now is to come out by 1 1/4 at that corner to get my curve. I'll further divide my armhole line from the shoulder slant to where the armhole line ends. I'll divide it into two. Then I'll go inside by half an inch there. Then I'll connect my curve. Just follow what I'm doing. I'm sure you'll get it. This is to eradicate any form of bulging around the armhole side. Please pay attention at this stage. At this stage, we'll be needing two important measurements, which are the nipple point and our bust span. My nipple point is 9.5, and to impute this measurement, I'll be placing my tape vertically downward from the shoulder line, and I'll be marking 9.5. The next measurement I'm going to impute now is my bust span measurement. My bust span is 7 divided by 2 will give me 3.5. But I didn't mark that 3.5 directly. I went ahead to add 1 inch to that 3.5, making 4.5, and that is what you see me marking. Then I mark it downwards 2 inches below my waistline. Please stick to these 2 inches, because if you try to alter it, it might change the look of the entire dress. So I'm going to make that into a straight line. So remember, I mark my nipple line. So what I'm going to do is to go away from that nipple line with 1 inch, because I don't want my dart to end directly on my nipple point. So I further went ahead to mark 1 inch away from my nipple line. So the dart will be starting 1 inch away from my nipple line to 2 inches below my waistline. So we're almost as good as done. So at the hem, because I don't want the edge of the dress to be pointy because of the shape we have there, so I went up at the hem with 1 inch and connected it like so. This is just to give the hem part a very rounded shape. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add half inch to our shoulder. so as to use that for our shoulder joining. So what you are going to do next now is to pinch that line we drew out. To pinch it, you secure around the dart with pins. Make sure it is well secured so that it won't move. Then what you are going to do is to cut through the darts, and that is what is going to serve as where our loop is going to sit. So after securing around the dart with pins, I'll go ahead, pinch out the dart line and gently notch, then cut through it. So you've seen that I've made a small hole there. So I'll insert my scissors, then cut through the dart line. So basically the dart starts from 1 inch below my nipple point to 2 inches below my waistline. So I'll go ahead now and cut out, and I'll be starting with the back. Please try to cut the back neckline first before the front. So I'll go ahead now, separate the back from the front so as to be able to cut the front neckline. So I'll go ahead now and cut out the front neckline. So like I said earlier, I will not be using zipper for this dress. So in order for me to be able to wear easily, I went ahead to open out like 6 inches for my button opening. On the back piece, this will serve as where the button is going to stand. I further went ahead to cut strips of fabric that I'll be using for the loop and for the lacing. Like I said earlier, I lost the drafting part of this video, so I had to show us using this fabric. So now we'll go to the main fabric that I used to see the sewing process. So I've gone ahead to place my back piece on another folded fabric so as to cut my facing. So what I'm going to do is to measure 2 inches from the back opening. Yes, that part I'm going to measure 2 inches down away from my slit, because I opened the back with 4 inches. So 2 inches away from where my opening ends, I will mark that part. Then at the neck width, I'll mark 2 inches away. So this is me giving the 2 inches a notch. Yes, that's what I'm trying to do here. So I've gone ahead to notch the 2 inches away from the slit and mark 2 inches away from my neck width. So what I'm going to do now is just to connect. This fabric is not showing like I said earlier. So
I'm going to connect into a smooth curve, yes, so as to cut out. So just follow the direction of my hand. So what I'm going to do next now is to mark out and cut on my facing the button opening just the way I cut it out on the main fabric. So I'll cut exactly the way I cut it on the fabric so that my facing too will have the button opening. Mind you, you can use your bias strip or a cutout from the fabric to turn the neck. It is just that I prefer using a facing for this kind of fabric so as to give it a very good finishing. So if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly subscribe now so as to see more beautiful contents, because I have more beautiful contents lined up for your view and learning pleasure. Share and like this video. So I'm going to go ahead and place my front piece on the folded fabric so as to cut out my facing, and the measurement I will be using to cut this facing is 2.5 inch away from my neck width and 2.5 inch away from the neck depth. So I'll connect into a smooth curve just the way I did for the back piece. So these are the strips of fabric that I cut out earlier, and the measurements I used to cut this is just 1 inch wide to by as long as you can get. So I'm going to be showing you how you can turn something like this. So what I did was to fold the 1 inch strip of fabric that I cut out, fold it into two, and I ran a stitch of 1/4 inch on it. So after running a 1/4 inch stitch on it, I went ahead to thread my needle to double thread it. Then afterwards, I secured a small portion of the 1/4 inch stitch that I ran on it with the needle, making sure that the stitch is up to 4 to 5 times so as to secure that part very well. Then I further went ahead to put the other end of my needle, not the pointed end. I inserted it into the loop, then I gently try to drag it out. Just follow what I'm doing, you'll get it. So the strips of fabric that you are going to cut out for your lacing should not be less than 50 to 60 inches. I mean the one you will use for your lacing when the dress is ready. So you can see the way I'm gently dragging it out. You can see the way I'm dragging it out. Just be careful so that your thread won't cut out. That is the essence of dropping threading the needle. So it's finally out. You can see it. This is way neater than just folding and running a stitch on your fabric. This is way neater. So you can use this for your corset and the likes. So I'll repeat the process again for another one so that we can see very well, then do the others off camera.
I'll go ahead and cut this into small pieces of 2.5 inches. So I have what I need for the button loop and the lacing loop, and I've further gone ahead to cut another strip of fabric that will be used for my lacing. This one, like I said earlier, they are like 50 to 60 inches. I think this is around the 52 inches. So make sure that you have between 50 to 60 inches long strip of fabric for your lacing. So what we are going to do now is to start sewing, and I'm going to start off with my front piece, that is using my facing to turn the neckline. So, and I'm going to be placing right side facing right side, and I'm going to secure it with a pin, then take to my sewing machine, then sew with an half inch. I'll be serging the lower part of the facing. I would not leave the raw edge like that. In case you don't have a serger, you can actually fold with half an inch or quarter of an inch just to keep that part neat. As for the back, I'm going to be placing my button loop first before placing the facing, so as to conceal the raw edges of the loop. I'm going to be leaving half an inch for neck turning before placing my first loop. I'm going to be using two buttons, so I'll be putting two button loops. So I'm going to take to my sewing machine now. I'll run half an inch stitch on it, following the direction of my finger. So this is what we have. This is it. This is the back piece. You see the way I turn the neckline. So I'm going to go ahead and give that part that looks like V a notch so that it can relax well. So, and this is my front piece. I sewed with half an inch like I said earlier, and I gave it a notch. So I'm going to leave that part for now and move to fixing of the loop on our dart line. Remember that line that we cut open, so that's where our loop is going to be attached. So I'll go ahead and measure out one inch on the dart line, because that's where the loop is going to sit. So I'll measure out one inch. Make sure you don't exceed 1 inch. So after marking out, I have 5 points. That is, I'll be having 5 loops on the dart line. So I'll go ahead and attach the loop on each 1 inch mark that I made. So I'll first of all secure with pins before taking to my sewing machine to stitch down. So this is what we have after securing with pins. So this is what we have. So what I'm going to do now is to flip the fabric over it and take to my sewing machine and sew with half an inch. Lest I forget, I'm going to be repeating this same process to other ones, to the other side of the front, then to the
back as well. So before you stitch down, make sure that your loops are all aligning well, that no one is longer than each other. So after flipping over, I secured with pins so as to make it easy for me to sew on the sewing machine. So it's really difficult for me to mark on this fabric, and so just try as much as possible to follow the direction of my finger. So I'm going to take to my sewing machine like I said earlier and sew with 1/2 inch following the direction of my finger. So this is it. This is the outcome. You can see I've already sewn her that. And another important thing that I did while sewing was to leave my thread. I didn't backstitch before while I started sewing, and I didn't backstitch after I finished my darts. I left the thread so as to knot it. It is good for you to knot your thread. Don't backstitch while sewing your darts. It gives it a very good finishing at the beginning and at the end of the darts. So I've also gone ahead to serge my front and back pieces. You can see it. I've also serged the facing part. I serged all the sides. You can see it is looking neat now. So what we are going to be doing now is to join the shoulder. I'll be joining the shoulder before neatening my facing, and I'll be using hemming gum for my facing. Yes, I'll be using hemming gum to press it down. So I'll first of all join my shoulder before pressing with hemming gum. So this is me trying to arrange my facing well so as to prepare it well for shoulder joining. In order for me not to make this video too lengthy, I'm going to go ahead and join the shoulder with 1/2 inch. I will also shape the two sides with 1/2 inch. I'll go ahead and fold the hem with 1/2 inch because I've already set it. So I'll just fold once with 1/2 inch. So I will do it and show us the result. I will also give it a very good press and put hemming gum on the facing. Do it and show us the result. Voila! You can see our gown is ready. So this is what we have. You can see I've gone ahead to press down with hemming gun, and you see that the way that part is laying so beautifully well. See the front, you see the darts. I ironed it open, I press it open. You see the darts, you see the way it's looking, you see the front facing, see the back facing, everything is just on point. Yes, I love the outcome of this outfit. I can't wait for you to give it a try. I'm sure you will love it too. So I'm going to go ahead now, turn it inside out so that we can see and behold the beauty of the right side. Wow. Wow. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are you seeing what I am seeing? Oh, I can't wait to rock this dress. So what we are going to be doing now is to show us how to lace it. So I'm just going to cut out the sleeve that I'll be attaching to this dress off camera. I will attach it, press it well, hang it on the mannequin and show us the final results. But if you really like the design of the sleeve and you want me to make a tutorial video on it, you can let me know in the comment section. I will surely do that. So thank you for
watching. Thank you for sticking by, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Like, share, and comment. Thank you. So see you in my next video. Bye.